then, maybe you guys will want to stay part of this conversation.
Let's make this last round, yeah.
Listen, BudSoda, one of the topics tonight was DoorDash deactivations. And I saw the comment you left on Rideshare Guys video. Right? So that information's out there. Do you want to share anything with us? If you don't want to, that's fine. Okay.
I'm deactivated, guys. I got the deactivation 8 hours ago. They say I manipulated payouts.
Hold on. I'm gonna put BudSoda. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. I'm gonna put BudSoda on the solo layout. I have a lot of respect for BudSoda. Okay. BudSoda represents Dashers because of his hustle, his grind. He's out here grinding. He supports a lot of YouTube channels. He's out here working about every day. So when he contacted me today and told me what happened, I called him immediately. I was like, well, you okay? What's going on? Because that's not, it's kind of a big deal, right? So I'm going to put you on a solo layout, BudSoda. You share with us just as a learning tool, if it could be that, and the process and what happened. Because I think I've been hearing more Dashers get deactivated, and I'm not saying I think I know what's happening, but I feel like I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if something happens to some me or some of the other people in the chat, because one thing we have to understand is this is an opinion, not a fact. When companies bring in a lot of new employees,
you got to get rid
drivers, whatever, contractors, they might have to, figure out a way to get rid of you through a TOS violation. And the TOS just got updated as well, guys. So if you haven't read it, I recommend reading it. It won't take you that long. Okay. But so go ahead, BudSoda. I'm going to put you up on the screen. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll wait till you have it up.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to read you guys the email. We regret to inform you that the Dasher account's been deactivated and outstanding payouts blocked, $2,000, mind you, based on fraudulent behavior while using DoorDash, in violation of your independent contractor agreement and service provider platform access policy, deactivation policy. Please review abusing the platform section within deactivation policy for payments or services and payments dispute sections within your independent contractor agreement for details. So what they told me was I got deactivated for abusing, manipulating payouts, abusing the platform. And the only way you could do that, according to the TOS, is by references, which I have none. I had one person ever be a reference under me, and they never completed it because they didn't work enough to do it. So I know there's people out here, that's why they discourage from you to put on your YouTube or social medias, so that way you can't manipulate. Like Pedro had that insane, crazy amount. He could have blasted that on his channel and probably really cashed in, but yeah, he would have been deactivated guaranteed, and rightly so, in my opinion.
Hold on, BudSoda. I'm going to put you back up, but I got a question. So when you read that, you said something about, they said manipulating tips, and what was the second part of that? Was there a second part or not?
Okay. Please review abusing the platform section, deactivation policy, payment for services, and payment disputes. So the only thing I read in their deactivation policy, it's in the deactivation policy, is that the fact that you can get deactivated for abusing and manipulating your reference code. So if you have a big reference code and you just put it out on a platform where it's mass, like let's say you posted your stuff to Facebook DoorDash Drivers Pro that has tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands at this point. So, and tons of people signed up under that and completed that quest. You're only supposed to do it via word of mouth, and when you run into other apps drivers, that's the way it was intended to recruit people to DoorDash.
Can I say something to you,
talking
Bud?
about the referral.
Wait a minute. Yeah, right,
referral.
I've never had a successful referral, and they're saying somehow I manipulated payouts, and the only way I can think of is something in the algorithm automatically hit because I get tons and tons and tons.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is, but I can help you out actually right here. I'll tell you what this is. This is actually quite common. Wait. It's actually quite common. Basically, you got to deactivate 8 hours ago. You give them a call, you'll get your account back. It's actually quite common with the DoorDash because what happens is if they consider it spam, if your link is like, sometimes an app can do that and it'll put your link out there too much. And considering that But it could have been, a bad app on your phone, something somehow the information was copied or whatever, even though nobody never signed up, but that your link has been reported as spammed out there in the computer. Sometimes it can be a glitch in the computer. So basically, you'll get your account back. You have to call and talk to them. This actually happened. It happened to DoorDash Diaries. It happened to another friend of mine, and all that. So that actually is quite common. So at least you'll get your account
that's
back.
happened. Triple D had that happen, but he actually did put his code out there.
Yeah.
And same thing with your driver, Mike. He had to, he also is deactivated.
I've never, and that's the reason I've never ever given my referral code.
But BudSoda, it sounds like to me you've got a different issue going on there. They're saying that you have done something that has manipulated the system that has given you more money than what they and I don't know how they get away with the fraud part of it. They seem to use that a lot with people. But I don't, it's like Aaron at Uber Lyft Phoenix, his was the cancellation fee deal. All right.
Well, he was reporting things that were closed when they were still open because he didn't want to wait in the drive-thru. So that wasn't justified.
But Soda, can I ask, have you had any of that in this past week or two, to where you had stores that were closed or shopping days or like anything? I
haven't reported a store closed in 8 days.
Well, at BudSoda, it's actually a glitch.
Closed. It was legit closed.
But it's a glitch going on.
Papa John's, I got an order at 11:40, and I went by and I saw a vehicle there. I'm like, man, I thought they were only open to 11 because Google said 11. So like, okay, maybe they're open to midnight now because they changed their hours because summer. No, certainly enough, no one's there. I got my half pay and I moved on. So it was going to be a big payout too, which sucks. But like, because like I $8 was a half pay, so that's the only time but because I work so much, I will tell you this much. Same thing for Spark. When you work these apps so much, and the more you work, this is the biggest problem with working a lot of hours like I do. You open yourself up to liability, claims of fraud. It could be a complaint by a customer. It could have been a customer saying, oh, well, he said he did this and he didn't do that. And they're saying I got falsely paid because of that. That's the only other hypothetical I could think of.
Can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
So it says something about manipulating tips, right? Is that the word that they used? Or what was the word that they used?
Gaming or manipulating any consumer, merchant, or Dasher referral program, Dasher paid promotions, or any other similar type of program opted to DoorDash platform. So my guess, because it says manipulating any consumer, I get post-tipped a ton. I have tons of screenshots I can throw up in a video.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, so I get those as well, right? But when you since DoorDash has allowed the consumer to add a tip, which I think is a fantastic function. I think a lot of us don't. I've talked about it. I don't see enough people talking about it. I think it's actually a really good thing. But let me ask you a question. Have you had any interactions with consumers via in-app chat, text, whatever, letting them know they can do that, asking for more of a tip? Have you had any conversations asking for a tip with the consumer?
I had customers ask me, and I did inform them how they can do that because they asked me. I don't normally, I wouldn't say, post tip. I just say, hey, help me out by throwing me a 5-star. I'd be very appreciative,
Yeah, but have you mentioned the word tips to the consumer? Like if you asked,
of course.
I think I'm not saying this to be true, but I think
I never have.
I think DoorDash might not like that.
Yeah,
they might not. They might not like a driver asking a consumer for a tip or having any kind of conversation about a tip. And I'm not saying you did something wrong, but I want you to think. Hold on for a second. I want you to think in your mind about any of the conversations, whether in the in-app chat, because we know DoorDash support can see that, right? That you've had with the consumers, and if any of those were either unfavorable or maybe a customer asked something, and I just think about that, because I feel like it could possibly, we're talking. This is a learning lesson for us, and I appreciate you sharing this, because I think a lot of people come here and I want people to learn, because at the end of the day, you lost $2,000, right? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's toward my taxes. I still owe $4,000.
That's crazy. So I want us to think about, okay, why did this happen? Did you know what I'm saying? Like, and we have to get down to the, you know, Red asked earlier, hey, did you call DoorDash? I know you can do the appeal via the email, but like, you know, I want us to learn from this because I want us to learn from it because I think that I've had conversations with certain customers that weren't always favorable, right? Not about tips necessarily, but like just, you know, somebody asking me to do this. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cancel the order.
Yeah, actually,
I've done that.
Updated their TOS to include that part to where that is actually illegal because as independent contractors, we're supposed to be able to get our own work. Doesn't matter through the app or not.
Right. But my point is like, I think we have to realize sometimes.
And no, I don't agree to it through the app.
These apps, the DoorDash app can see the communication we have with the customer. So if we're using on the tips, if we're using lingo like, hey, leave a tip, you can add to a tip now. Can you please tip me? They might not like that. They might look at that as. Go ahead.
Can I say what I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey man, thanks for the great tip. That's awesome. You know, because you know he'll hide on an add-on. Like I just had one, like literally the delivery before I got deactivated. It went from 6 to 10. I'm like, holy crap! Thanks, great tip, brother. I appreciate that. It was an $8 tip, $10 order. So,
that could be.
I say that hundreds of times a week.
I know, but what my point is this. My point is that I think that DoorDash might look at that as something that is not what they want, and not that you're doing something wrong necessarily, like with ill intent. But I feel like DoorDash might look at that like, no, we don't like that. We don't want that type of communication. I could be wrong.
Because that's weird. Because why shouldn't we compliment our customers who tipped appropriately or above what is normal? Shouldn't those customers be thanked, saying, "Hey,
no,
man"?
I'm not talking about the compliment. I'm talking more like, is there something else happening? I'm just asking. I'm not saying I know.
I think it's also.
It's literally what I do. So,
but I think it's. I think. Do you still do? Were you still doing multiple?
Grubhub and Instacart. Yes.
Multiple.
But it's nothing to do with those sections.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Their TOS just updated to make it more clear that they understand we multi-app, and that is acceptable as independent contractor because we're free to do that.
You got more than one phone?
Yeah. Of course I do. I sign in on the other phone when I get data throttled.
Okay, but wait a minute. I'll say like this. And I see, remember, I'm like, they call me judge. Like they call me judge because I listen. By what you were saying, if they're getting you on the part for the misuse of your link, it's probably a glitch because they've been having glitches like little in my market. The timer, like when you do like can't hand the order to a customer, hasn't worked for like it was off for like 18 hours. So like literally every order you had to confirm, and I was just sending pictures to their, I would send them a picture there. And in my market, it was down for like 18 hours. And they like, so after calling them and tell them that they know if they having glitches in certain parts of the market. Like just now, I just got a note. I'll send you a picture of it, Pedro. It's talking about we are having a temporary outage here. And you saw what the customer said the other day. Right. I sent that to you, Pedro. I figure I send that stuff to you. You can use that crap for,
Oh, I plan on it. Don't worry.
Yeah. But
let me read this comment from Bonsai. Certain words may trigger flags in the algorithm. Yeah. I believe that to be extremely true because I believe this is an algorithm. There's not a person necessarily unless you call support. So I think that when I mentioned the in-app chat, right? And DoorDash just put a lot more time and effort in in-app chat. This past week, I just recently noticed that now there's like automated responses I could send a customer, right? So that in-app chat, they're feeding information. They're allowing us to use it. Yeah, and I think there's some algorithmic thing with the trigger of words being said so many times that might say, okay, something's not right here. We're going to deactivate and then possibly look into it or see if this dasher is going to appeal it and we'll get more information. And when it happens, obviously they keep your earnings. But I want to also focus on like, that 2000, like what's going to happen? Like if I get,
I don't
that's
understand
a lot of money.
How they're, I don't understand how they're with anyone keeping the money. And I would tell you right away, especially in New York, I would file an arbitration claim immediately for the money they owe you.
Here's the question. Why don't y'all cash out daily?
Yeah.
I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that next.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I don't like paying the fee. It takes 3 days to come to my bank. yes, I could do Dash or Direct, but I like it being in my bank. I like a big
I do
sum
Dash
of money,
Direct.
and that's how I budget. So that's just how I do things personally.
Every day.
I know. Yeah, technically payout's a tax write-off, but $4 times 7, that's 28.
Yeah, I do Dash or Direct at
and that's
least.
half a tank of fuel. If I
hold on for a second. Hold on. I've never, maybe once, but I doubt it. Never used I also wait. So I want to be honest with my audience. And
You wait?
I don't have Dash or Direct.
Whoa.
And I get paid every Tuesday. I do. I gotta be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
That too.
But listen. What I thought that the cash out was like 50 cents. Am I wrong or
no? Not for DoorDash.
50 cents.
It's like $7.
Instacart. Instacart is they use Stripe for Instacart. It's 50-cent cash out, and it's literally my account in like 5 to 10 minutes. It is probably the best. Okay. And then Grubhub also uses Stripe, but it's usually like next day.
But you're saying DoorDash is $4 a day?
It's like $7 here in my market.
It was $4. I think last time I did try to use it, it was $2. But every time I try it, it takes 3 days anyway. So what the hell's the point?
Oh, mine is instant. Mine is in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it sounds like on Uber.
I got people. Hold on, guys. I got people in the chat saying it's $1.99. So what is it? Does it change based on market? Does it change based on market or what?
I think certain states only allow you to legally charge so much. Like for example, Spark. If you use your debit card through branch, they can charge up to $19.97 to cash out.
Yep.
And then you can only cash out so much. I think it's $999 is the limit. So they got me good because I could not attach my bank account, so I had to pay that $20 fee every time.
Yeah, they're getting you like that with with me being a contractor, and sometimes people might write me checks and
illegal in New York.
Don't
charge that much.
And they're killing the fees. The fees are horrible, man. It's like sometimes they charge like $25. Yeah.
Mine's $1.99 on DoorDash for an instant payout, and I get it in my account in 30 seconds.
Hey, anyone in my market who's watching right now, put in the chat what your current cash out is. I know there's some of you in here.
So, BudSoda, what's okay? I want to use this, and I appreciate you, man. I know we talked earlier, and you know,
you're good, bro.
I appreciate you a lot because I think that this is important for us to like hear and we share experiences. That's what this channel's about, so we can then understand how to move better, right? So what's your plan? What are you going to do? You know,
so I'm going to Jersey next month for Flex's birthday, and I am going to go to a green light hub, whatever they call it down there, and get on Uber because they won't recognize my face. Always some issues signing up. I have to attempt to re-sign for Spark. It just keeps airing.
I'm asking. Hold on. I didn't ask the question good enough. That's my fault. What are you gonna do about the $2,000 you lost? And DoorDash, like you told me earlier, is a big percentage of your income. What are you gonna do about trying to get back on to protect yourself? Like JP is saying, hey, you could do this, you could do that. Like, what's the plan? Do you have a plan? Have you thought about that yet?
So I do have a lawyer on retainer. I will have him write a letter basically saying, hey, give him the money, and they usually kind of give up. If not, well, if I have to blow it up to the media, well, so be it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a PR nightmare because I actually support a lot of what DoorDash does. And the fact that they reached out to me repeatedly asking me about my market tells numbers. And I did reach out to somebody who I would contact with, but that's as far as I can. I can't say anything more on that. So hopefully through my measures, I either get reactivated, or if I don't, do what everyone else does and just change my middle name up, use a new name and an email because I have 2 phones.
So somebody's telling me Gig Rocket. What's Gig? I know I've heard Gig Rocket, but I don't have the information on it. Is that a credible? It's like a
ride share thing. It's like they help people like us. But this is the thing, but you're not the first one to get deleted
at all. That's the thing. I don't trust that stuff because there used to be rideshare legal, and now they don't do deactivations anymore either. There does need to be something out here in this space to arbitrate and have reactivation.
But the problem here's the problem with it.
I'd hire a lawyer for $1,000 to fight my deactivation.
Or you don't need to spend. BudSoda, you don't have to spend $1,000.
But you get what my point is.
Yeah, no, I know. I am trying to help you with this. I really am. File an arbitration claim and write a letter, and I would send it on Twitter. I would also send it on email. All right. I would address it to Tony Shu. And I can't remember the other guy's name, but there's like 3 or 4 people there in operations, but do it on Twitter as well as on email and just explain that you didn't do anything. Because you haven't said anything yet that's actually fraud, unless you did. And I know you don't agree with this, but unless you did this, for instance, if you took, let's just say 2 DoorDashes, you took 2 Instacarts and you were 20 minutes late getting it to a customer with the DoorDash. They could look at that as a trend and a pattern and say that you were not.
I've been called 20 minutes late on an order when DoorDash was my only order, because what you were saying earlier, words trigger in the algorithm. So if a customer says anything about it taking too long or time, it's automatic in the algorithm. Same for when the support agent types that in, it's automatic. Support confirmed with me that it automatically reverts back to original delivery time, and that's why you get a contract violation for it, and there's nothing you can do about it besides appeal it, and it never comes down. You have to work 100 deliveries.
Have you had many? I've
had dozens of those, and it always came off.
Okay, but I'll tell you this, from what I've seen, I've had somebody experience the same thing that what you're saying, like this. You run a YouTube channel too?
Of course I do. Yeah.
Of course. That matter of fact, because I'm not gonna lie. Now y'all talk about me with a tinfoil hat, but this is actually listen.
Here we go.
Now here's the tinfoil hat.
It was a conspiracy.
Listen. I don't believe this, but I've heard that somehow that thing has been triggered with bullshit. And basically, when you call back, they'll start your account up, and then they usually offer you to start getting information from you and help make that better. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard 2 or 3 people say that somehow my account got banned for that same reason, and they were YouTubers. But then immediately when I call, they're real nice to me, and my account is back. You'll be back on in 3 days, max. I mean, because they said it's something about that it keeps triggering on the YouTubers.
So you do know that
that is a common thing.
DoorDash, I'm a content creator, and they encourage me to make certain videos.
Yeah, that's right.
They were talking to me about safety. Please make a video on safety, and I encourage other YouTubers to as well.
Right. So basically, think about it. I've heard that. Now that's kind of sketchy. But what you're saying is it sounds like you just got caught up in that glitch. And it's a glitch with that thing there. And usually most of the time when people call and actually finally you get a person who speaks American English and really understand the English that they're saying, then that's usually when they help you and get everything straight out.
In the deactivation policy, when it says you appeal, it says do not call. Our support team cannot do anything.
So call them. Don't believe that bullshit. My dude got deactivated. Call them. I hate to say.
I think the Twitter route could be helpful based on other things I've seen, like JP is saying. I think writing a letter could be helpful. Email. I also think I want to say this, and I say this with love, right? Because I met BudSoda in person. I've shooken his hand. We've had a beer together. I know BudSoda. Okay, I know him. Okay, I know him. Right? It was a great time. Thanks for coming. Listen.
Yeah.
I also think we have to realize DoorDash is a very smart company.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe, this is my opinion, not a fact. I don't believe they would deactivate somebody just because. Now, I think it could be a glitch. But I also think there's a lot in that TOS that protects DoorDash.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I think that while BudSoda might not have done anything malicious or anything crazy, I think that it could have been something that he did that technically was against TOS, and that's what triggered it. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Gaming or manipulating any consumer. That line right there.
Okay, so listen, stop right there. BudSoda is notorious for taking multiple orders on multiple apps, correct?
Yeah. But there's another
could that be gaming? Could that be gaming? Could that be gaming the system and the consumer? Because if he just said he had 12 times where the order's been over 10, 20 minutes, the algorithm might.
That's when it was a single offer.
Yeah, but I don't know if that matters, BudSoda. That's my point. I think that because you drive so much, there's so many algorithmic things. The app could have triggered something like, okay, something's not right here, and we're going to deactivate so we can look into it.
And I'll share this with you, BudSoda. When I started doing Uber Eats, and I did Uber Eats in 2017, and I did 2 orders, and they were both at a McDonald's. They didn't give you any information, and I think I got paid $1.90 or something like that for each of them, and I just never did it again. But in 2020, I started doing it again. And I started doing the same things you were doing. I'm on with DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats, and I'm taking, 3 and 4 orders and going out and making. I loved it. I was making $50, $60 an hour. But here's what happened: is all of a sudden Uber didn't do anything. I just stopped getting Uber Eats orders, and
that's what they did.
2 or 3 weeks later, I get an email from Uber that says, you seem to take a lot longer than most other drivers in your area to get the orders delivered. Now, I get it. It's not, and they didn't deactivate me for that.
The thing is, most of us hard hustlers out here do exactly as I do.
I know, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
You see, here's what I did: is I wised up and said, "No, I'm not going to." I got to tell you, I didn't want to lose access to it, so I just said, "Yep." And you know what? 2 or 3 weeks later, I fell back into their favor, and they were feeding me nice banger orders again. So,
is anyone else's market doing this? I got a question for all of you in the chat, on the panel. Hey, let me finish. So, I get offered triples or quadruples. We all know that triples are going out. Do any of you get quadruples for all just restaurants and merchants, 7-Eleven?
On DoorDash?
No.
Yep.
I've never seen a quad. I've seen a triple.
That's
about
very common in my market. It's common in my market.
I've seen triples, but I've never seen a quad.
Or the thing they just started doing this 2 weeks ago is, especially when it's almost closing time at these restaurants, they'll just keep offering you add-ons till you have 4.
Yeah. I've seen them make me go to a restaurant, then go back to the restaurant before I even go to that customer. Now I picked up 2.
Yeah, they do that all the time. That's what an average triple is. Yeah. But then there's a triple that they offer you up front. There's a quadruple they offer you up front. Then there's a triples and quadruples that they'll just keep offering you add-ons until you leave the restaurant.
Yeah, but Bud, I'm just gonna tell you something. Like, Pedro, make sure to get Bud my number. We did something kind of like what we do, but we had a code for it. We used to call it Invisible Man. I'll tell you about that off air. But yeah, I already know what type of person you are. You're a hustler. I like you, dude.
Yeah, I'm a business-minded person, and I'm I've always had a hustle mindset throughout my freaking youth. And
I get that. But I think we have to understand that sometimes when we do that, we're gambling.
You open yourself up for other stuff.
Yes, I know. Yeah, and I
didn't even cry over it. I'm just frustrated that I'm out 2K.
No, listen, when we talked earlier, you were way more measured than I would have been in calm. Yeah. I'll tell you this, I made $750 this week with DoorDash. If I got deactivated today, and they took my $750, I would have been pissed off. Like, trust me, I would have been mad. If I did nothing wrong, I would have been pissed. I would have been mad. It's $750.
Remember, I have that other friend I coached. I believe he got deactivated for not using his hot bags that we could repeatedly warn him about. But I also warned him.
It's part of the TOS.
He quit his day job. And go full time because he was making such good money doing this part time, especially when I gave him advice. And it's like, he started understanding what orders to take, not to take better, and how to route properly. So the thing is not go south and when you got one going north kind of thing. So the thing is that he thought, oh man, I'm getting great money during dinner and the weekends, so I could do this full time. And I warned him not to do this full time because it is extremely difficult to do so, not just from a success standpoint, but also because you can get deactivated for almost anything.
Well, the problem with the apps, like I used to tell people all the time, sometimes it's not what you did and all like that. It's just like who you are. Like, you ever like her, like, it's like you got that employee that, like, say he's the best one, but he always comes late. But the rules is they can fire you for being late. And I mean, like, companies do that all the time. So sometimes it was like, well, you might be guilty of something. We ain't got enough dirt to get you on that. So we just fire you on this technicality. Because all of us have broken rules.
There's a section of TOS and deactivation policy that explicitly says that, and I didn't violate either of those terms.
I'll say this. I think Dre just said it. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I think a majority, if not all of us have done something against the TOS. I would stand by that.
It's just a technicality. It's just a technicality to get you. We do. I mean, like, I worked at another company, RGIS. We just use technicality to get rid of bad employees all the time.
And what I would say to you, BudSoda, on that part, though, is that I think that if you do, if on your videos, you cover how to multi-app and what you're doing and what have you.
I stopped doing the stack and route videos because I was catching so much flack for it.
Don't do that.
But
the reason I say this is that they're not going to tell you this. They're not going to tell you
views or comments. They don't
they're
get
not-
any more views or comments.
DoorDash is not going to tell you this, but if they've gone in and somebody at DoorDash, well, not somebody, there's probably several. There's a department in DoorDash that actually watches YouTube videos and all the rest of it, and
you
TikTok
think that,
and all that.
You really think that?
I think there is a group of people there that their job is to manage the social media, and absolutely.
Oh, I believe that.
Companies.
Yes, I believe that they definitely have a social media department.
But there's no way they could track hundreds or thousands of channels.
No, but they track the popular people.
Pedro's on their radar. They're partnered with They're partnered
Triple
with
D.
They're partnered with Triple D. They're partnered with Triple D. They're partnered with Right Along with Bree. They were partnered with Eli Esch. And they tried to partner with Megan. Those are the ones that I'm aware of.
She got deactivated shortly after that. So it's like,
but that was for something else. That was for something else.
I know. It was
completely
fishy,
different. Yeah. But I would tell you that those are the things, and yes, I do, Pedro. I think that there are. I think they do it. They think they do it through what people would commonly call AI. But I think they have a computer that actually searches through and looks for certain language, just like they do with in the other algorithms, and they and they pull out information, and something pops, then they go through and they and especially something if it's paired with some sort of a complaint, okay, that for instance, with the one that got deactivated, she doxed
she did. That's why she got
she doxed a customer, and frankly, that's the right thing for them to do, is to get rid of.
And they had bad interactions between Megan's comments and subscribers, and there was like harassing things going on. So they had listen. I'll say this on record. I said it before. Megan got deactivated, and I didn't feel bad for her. I'm sorry, I just didn't.
But she wasn't even using DoorDash as her main income anyway, so she didn't care.
She was fine. She didn't care. She's gonna be fine. She didn't.
And I was going to say, she was saying all along, I'm going to quit doing it. So and you know, I used to watch all of her stuff at the beginning, but it did turn into just how terrible DoorDash is. And some of us already know those things that are bad about it. We just got to take the best we can get out of it. But I would do. Somebody put a comment up. I think it was Robert Allison was his name, but he's saying to do the rideshare professor thing. It's only $49 or $79 or something like that. I can't remember what he said, but I hear you on what you think of him. But you know, who cares if they are able to actually?
Part is what I'm worried about. I don't care about the price. The information, getting up all my info.
You know, I think there's been enough. There's been enough drivers that I've been aware of that have used that and have had some success. It's worth looking into it.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. And if it's $79, you spend your $79. The worst thing that happens is you don't get back on, but at least you did something.
But listen, call first. I'm just letting you know. Most of, like 3 of the people I know that got deactivated like that, they all called and they were back on. I don't know 3 people that got deactivated and they were reading and stuff like that. Now, unless they get you on a tip naxicality or they try to get you on, so like manipulate, say you like put pressure on the customer, they might get you there. But if they come out and say that if they come out and say that your link was just spammed, usually that gets cleared up pretty easily because I've seen other people get the link spammed, and somehow it's like well, wait a minute, nobody signed up through my link, and I never got paid no money, but somehow that link gets spammed. I don't know how, but they were saying it was coming up a glitch sometimes where people were doing that, and I know people that get reactivated that way.
Okay.
So
listen, BudSoda's got me nervous. I'm gonna check my DoorDash account to make sure, because I haven't worked since I haven't worked since Thursday.
Well,
so okay, no,
well, they're down in my area.
Let me see if I can. I got dropping off an order and I didn't even get paid for it.
Let me see if I can dash.
$10 order too.
Oh, well, see, we're down.
If it says I'm deactivated, I'm gonna blame BudSoda.
No, you wouldn't even see
I'm
Dash
good.
now.
I'm good.
You wouldn't even see Dash now.
I was going to say you wouldn't even be able to log into the app.
Ooh, I was gonna sweat that a little bit.
I'll open it and I'll show it on camera. But,
no, you don't have to. You don't have to do that.
But like, that's literally what. Let it focus.
I can't. Hold on. Let me solo you. I don't know if I can see it. Hold on. It's too bright.
Focus. Hang on. Give it a minute. It's gonna brighten back down.
No, it's too bright. We can't see nothing. It's fine. Oh, there it is. Okay.
You got everybody going online checking their DoorDash account.
Check your accounts, guys. Check your accounts.
Yeah.
I'm not, BudSoda, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm not laughing at you.
No, it's fine. Listen. Okay. I knew the risk of what I was doing, and then someone said, that they're word sensitive, and then it's like, oh crap! In the past, support has openly told me that if the customer says to support in their chat or on the phone, and the support agent types it in, so why wouldn't they watch the in-app chat in a similar fashion? And in fact, I've had the in-app chat save my butt.